Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my WWE Clash of Champions 2020 review. A lot of things to say about this show tonight. Every championship is on the line, so let's see how this goes. One thing to say about the pre-show real quick, that two matches were changed tonight. That number one, Nikki Cross, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler are apparently not medically cleared to compete tonight, even though Nia Jax says that's not true on Twitter. There were no women's tag titles on the line, or Nikki Cross will not be able to compete in her match for the women's championship tonight against Bayley. But one real quick note to talk about the pre-show. Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro versus the Lucha House Party for the Tag Team Championships. Listen, the match was solid. That's all I can really say from this. I'm surprised we didn't really see any more of Kalisto arguing with the Lucha House Party and whatnot, with him most likely turning heel. But I don't think I really need to see this match, and it feels like it's been a one-sided feud anyways, because Cesaro and Nakamura have beaten basically all the Lucha House Party members in singles matches, to the point where, why do I need to see this match? Why did I need to see this as a tag team match? And then again, the Lucha House Party lost to Cesaro and Nakamura so many times. What made them really deserving of a tag title shot? But then again, we don't have a lot of tag teams on SmackDown, I guess, so this wasn't really nothing much to talk about. Like I said, the match was solid. We didn't really see any more of Kalisto arguing with the Lucha House Party, but House Party and whatnot. But yeah, that's all I can really say from this. So hopefully they move Cesaro and Nakamura to something else. I did like the finish, though, the swing going into a Kinshasa. That was okay. I like that. But that's all I can really say for the SmackDown tag titles on the pre-show. Next, we get to arguably, or in my opinion, the best match out of the entire night. And this was the first official match of the show. Triple threat ladder match. Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship, or both Intercontinental Championships that are above, to see who the real Intercontinental Champion is. This match was freaking insane, okay? All these guys we know have been in ladder matches in the past before, and holy shit, this was great. Like I said, this was great, and this was the first match, alright? From what, AJ throwing Sami Zayn into the ladder, which he was like a bumping machine out there, I'll say that. Well, what else? AJ throwing Jeff into like one of the ladders into the corner. AJ hitting like a Pele kick onto Sami Zayn, in pretty much knocking him into the ladder again and whatnot. Styles trying to go for the belts, but Hardy climbed up on the other side. They fought for a second. AJ knocked him off the ladder, which he tried to get the titles, but Hardy pulled him down. Sami came back in, tried to go for the belts. It did not work. Even like threw AJ into explosive suplex on one of the ladders. Then that was crazy. Everybody ended up going outside. Jeff hitting like a poetry on motion, jumping on top of Sami Zayn into AJ Styles, but then a haluva kick from Sami Zayn pretty much went into AJ. Like I said, pretty much taking him down with two finishers. Sami went up to go up the ladder, but AJ Styles threw a small ladder at him, pretty much almost like a bullet hitting him, just going to the ground. I actually thought that was pretty cool. Like, Sami's just trying to climb up there, and AJ just throws like a mini ladder and just knocks the shit out of him. And Sami's holding his hand then and whatnot. But Styles trying to go back up there again. Jeff was up there. Both the ladder ended up going over, which AJ was still on the ropes as Jeff went outside the ring. AJ went stomach first into it. He tried to get back up, go for a springboard, but Jeff ended up pushing the ladder at AJ's head. Jeff hit like a twist of fate onto Sami Zayn then, and basically he went up the ladder, which Sami tried to knock him off of it. Jeff got on another one. Sami basically pushed the ladder over. Jeff pretty much, which went to the outside then. After that, which, by the way, that ladder, holy crap, that ladder was just insane how he fell off of it. But Sami tried to go for it again, and he tried to put up a ladder, above right by the announce table, but AJ pretty much started knocking Sami Zayn in, even hit him like his reverse, like DDT moonsault off the announce table onto the ground on Sami Zayn, which he threw him across the announce table then. AJ got a ladder, and he went back up, but Hardy came in and tried in with the small ladder. And this was kind of strange right here. Like, Jeff went to the top of the ladder, right? I don't know if this was it, but I remember Jeff went to the top of the ladder, and AJ pulled the ladder, or Jeff did, and like Jeff was on like kind of moving like a snake. They were saying, just like trying to go, like, I don't know, go towards AJ or Sami Zayn. I think it was AJ, but like AJ ended up pushing Jeff to the outside with the ladder. That was a crazy bump that happened. I don't know what was going on with that, but or what they were going for. That was an insane bump. Like he's just crawling towards the AJ while on the ladder, like lifted invertedly going to the turnbuckle. That was pretty insane. But kind of going back to the outside, then Jeff ended up going to the top of the ladder where AJ Styles, but Sami Zayn was laying on one of the ladders. AJ hit a big swanton bomb, very high in the air, goes through the ladder, breaks it with Sami Zayn right there. That was just batshit crazy. AJ tried to go for another ladder with the belts, but AJ knocked him in. Pretty much Styles went to the corner, which was crazy. But at one point when both of them were outside, where Jeff was, Sami Zayn and got some handcuffs in, and he took Jeff Hardy's like his earlobe, because it's got a hole right there, and he cuffed it into like the ladder. So he cuffed his earlobe here and attached it to a ladder so Jeff could barely move with it, and Sami Zayn ended up handcuffing himself to AJ. So AJ basically picked up Sami Zayn after beating him up a little, lifted him by going up the ladder almost like a dead body and whatnot, and as he tried to get up there, Sami Zayn was able to take the other handcuff. Well, he took the handcuff off by taking a key out of his mouth and taking the handcuff, unhooking himself, and hooking AJ. Well, AJ still hooked to the handcuff, but he hooked the other part of the handcuff to the ladder then. So basically, AJ was stuck with the ladder. Hardy tried to come back with the ladder that was still kind of attached to him, hidden, trying to use it to hit Styles and Sami Zayn with. But like I said, when Jeff stopped AJ, that's when, like I said, Sami Zayn took the handcuff, the key from his mouth, attached it there, and Sami Zayn ended up taking the Intercontinental Championships since both guys were kind of handcuffed to different objects, the ladders and everything. So that was a creative finish. I like that. This was by far the best match out of the night, and this was the first match. These guys went nearly 30 minutes out here. This shit was insane. Now, I said on SmackDown the other night that there was no point of doing that triple threat match because who was it? I think it was Sami Zayn that got pinned. No, Sami Zayn didn't get pinned, but he won that match on Friday. So that would have told you that, oh, he's not winning the match and everything, or AJ. But how wrong was I? Now, listen, it didn't make no sense to do that triple threat match since you were doing the ladder tonight, but that kind of made me forget about SmackDown. This was a great ladder match. This was fun to watch. I enjoyed it. It was great, and I actually thought it was a creative finish, and it works for Sami Zayn since he's a heel and everything and trying to be crafty. The whole handcuff thing and keys, that was good. So I did like that. That was great. I guess they had to do something to get the 24/7 title on, so Drew Gulak ended up winning, and Drew was dressed like a gold miner for some reason. Next, I would say, was the cool down match between Asuka and Zelina Vega. I guess I could say one thing. We did get the full Raw announce team back. Samoa Joe, which I don't know where he's been, now in commentary, but him, Tom Phillips, and Byron Saxton were all back together. Listen, this match with Vega and Asuka, I didn't really need to see it. This was a last minute anyways. I thought this match was supposed to be on the pre-show, but it ended up not being on the pre-show. But the match itself, though, it was okay. It's not much I can say. I'm surprised they gave Zelina Vega that much offense against Asuka, which I was like, did this match really need to go 7 minutes? Because this was very predictable. And like I said, this was last minute, and we really barely even see Zelina Vega wrestle that much. So what made me really believe she was ever going to beat Asuka? She's mostly been the whole manager thing. And every time we have seen her wrestle, she mostly has lost all the time. So they tried to make her look somewhat credible against Asuka. It's just kind of odd when you're doing it. Like I said, this match was like a last-minute thing because they just came up with the winner on Monday. Not Monday, yeah, on Raw and whatnot. And then she gets an immediate title shot. So it was whatever. I'll say that. Asuka ended up winning with the Asuka lot, but I don't think it really needed to go that long, and I'm surprised Zelina Vega got that more offense on Asuka, to be honest. And then right after, Asuka had, basically said that Zelina Vega is small, but she's like a firecracker, which Zelina Vega had bowed to Asuka, and Asuka had bowed back to her, but Zelina Vega kicked her then. She got out the ring, and Asuka yelled in Japanese to her as Vega left. Do I need to see another match from this? No. Okay, I don't need to see another match, which apparently they're gonna do that. They'll possibly do this on Raw, but here's the thing about this match. Why would you even try to continue this feud into a rematch? And we just saw Zelina Vega tap out decisively to Asuka. And the only other person I could think of that, I don't know who else they got on this roster. I'm sure everybody's going to say Bianca Belair, but you don't want to rush that right now. And even some people told me tonight that, well, you don't want to feed Bianca to Asuka, but then again, Bianca could be the one to take the belt off Asuka. I don't really know, but then again, like I said, what other women do we have on the roster right now to go against Asuka for this title? Because I don't need to see her versus Zelina Vega again. I really don't. Next, Bobby Lashley went against Apollo Crews for the U.S. title. How many times have we seen this match and we know Apollo Crews is going to lose this? I like the Hurt Business. They're probably like one of the best things on Raw. I don't need to see Apollo Crews face Bobby Lashley again. I really don't. And Bobby Lashley won clean. I know Ricochet was out there with Crews, and the Hurt Business was out there with Bobby Lashley. But Bobby Lashley won with the full Nelson. He beat Apollo Crews. The match was okay, but let's be honest here. Crews was never winning. Lashley won the title. That's all you need to know. Full Nelson. It's the Hurt Business, okay? Here's a match. Here's another match I don't need to see, which I've seen almost 1,000 times at this point. Street Profits versus Garza and Almas again. The only difference this time in this match, apparently to what I've heard, Garza suffered a knee injury, so that's why we had that abrupt pin, because Dawkins did the sky high or whatnot, and it looked like he kicked out, but the referee had counted to 3 anyways, and it was over. And I'm like, was this a botched finish? Are they going to try to continue this again? I'm like, I hope not, because I've said it before. It's like, a couple weeks ago, you got Almas and Garza fighting each other, but then now, the next week, they win some gauntlet, not a gauntlet, but they win some triple threat match, and then they get another title shot against the Street Profits again. We've seen this for months. Nobody wants to see this anymore. Oh, Garza's okay, and he didn't get hurt too bad and whatnot, but I don't have much to say about this match. I've seen it one too many times. I don't want to see it again, which now brings me next to the next thing, which I'm sure hopefully these two get separated, because even my friend Gerard told me this tonight. Because we got the draft coming in a few weeks on October the 9th. On SmackDown and on Raw. And, one thing that was said was about the draft is this. My friend Kyle told me this. Why do a draft if everybody's in the same building at the Thunderdome? I said my response to this, ratings, which could be true. I've said this to everybody. Ratings just because. It's just because. Ratings. That's what you need to do, and just use the draft to get ratings off people. Obviously, everybody needs a shake-up around here. This whole show, both of these shows desperately need a shake-up, which I said SmackDown's been doing better than Raw, but this really needs to shake up. Even change Garza and Almas if you have to, or get some other tag teams on Monday Night Raw, because I cannot see the Street Profits versus Garza and Almas again. And it's just a very one-sided, lopsided feud at this point. I don't even understand why it's going anymore. But with the draft coming back, they desperately need the draft, okay? They desperately kind of need the draft right now. And I'm sure everybody's going to say wild card or brand invitational, which some would say, why even do a draft? Just put everybody on all the shows, which I would say that too. But they want to still keep this draft thing going for whatever reason. But you got to stop that wild card or I don't know, the wild card rule or the brand invitational. I don't know, okay? But other than that, what else? Truth won the 24/7 title again from Gulak, yada yada. Bayley came out since Nikki Cross was unable to compete tonight. Bayley offered an open challenge to anybody. She had that chair that she hit Sasha with. Who accepts the challenge? Asuka. So Asuka could possibly become a double champion right now, apparently. But that did not happen. I'm like, really? I guess they didn't have nobody else on the SmackDown roster. So I'm sure someone's going to say, where's Naomi at? That's a good question. But Asuka came out and faced Bayley, but it ended up in a DQ because Bayley hit Asuka with a chair. But right after Sasha Banks appeared out of nowhere, hit Bayley with the chair to the back. And, Sasha still had her neck brace on. Bayley had pretty much kicked Sasha and threw her in the ring and had a kendo stick in her chair. But Banks was able to kick Bayley in the knee, took the kendo stick, beat her with it for a minute, and then had the chair, but Bayley got a dodge. This was a good little beatdown from Sasha and everything. So the Sasha and Bayley feud continues to be good, I will say that. And whatnot. So Sasha's still around. Some believe in. Yeah, I've had a couple arguments here and there. Some people believe that Sasha came back too early. It's only been 3 weeks since this whole, beatdown happened. Which, my friend Steven said this tonight, and it's a good idea when he was kind of help booking. It's like, okay, they could do a Hell in a Cell match or an unsanctioned thing. Bayley can win from there. That kind of takes Sasha off of TV for a minute. Sasha returns at the Royal Rumble. She gets a title shot against Bayley and faces her at WrestleMania, depending if there's a crowd at this point in time. But I could see that now, the whole main event of WrestleMania. I know people saying that, but listen, Steve, I'm sorry, that shit ain't main event of WrestleMania, okay? I don't see it happening. I get the feud. You have a great idea. I like your idea, but that shit's not main event of WrestleMania. Sorry, dude. I just don't see it happening, okay? But that was his idea explained to me tonight, and that is a good idea. But knowing WWE, they may rush this, and I probably will see the title match by Survivor Series, maybe. That's where I could see the culmination of this feud going to Survivor Series between Sasha and Bayley. But this was a good beatdown, no. And I'm kind of glad we didn't have to see Bayley versus Nikki Cross again, since Bayley's beaten her several times. Honestly, I'm glad we didn't have to see the women's tag title match, because I don't even want to see Nia Jax on TV. So this is already a positive light of this show tonight. Next, the WWE Championship on the line. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton in an ambulance match. I like this match to some extent. Okay? Now, of course, like I said, anything goes in this match. Orton going for the DDT. Hitting, Drew, was like the nuts in the DDT and whatnot. Orton was going to go for the punt kick, but next thing you know, Big Show shows up. Big Show choke slams Randy Orton through the table and everything, which Drew gave, Drew a chance to go back for Orton, picking him up, trying to get him to the ambulance. McIntyre had opened the door and whatnot, but that did not. He got like a chair out of there, some crutches and everything. McIntyre hit Orton with the chair then. Orton got the crutch after that and hit Drew with it, which Orton had took the chair and pretty much tried to go for his, the jaw, the whole jaw injury and whatnot. But Orton, got him to near the driver's side of the ambulance and tried to close the door, but McIntyre pretty much got out of it and went for a headbutt. He tried to get a Claymore kick, but Orton got out the way, and I guess he kicked the door off of its hinges and everything with that Claymore kick, which next thing you know, Orton and Drew fought to the backstage. Orton threw Drew into the wall near the catering, but next thing you know, Christian comes out of nowhere and attacks Randy Orton and just throws him across the catering table and just beating him up, leaving him on the ground and whatnot. I'm surprised he didn't go for a kill switch, which once again gave Drew another chance to go for Orton, and they went back near the ambulance, but McIntyre ended up, not McIntyre, but Orton pretty much hit McIntyre on to the windows of the ambulance once they got in the hood of it, and like back body slammed him and whatnot. Which Drew, he got to the what did he get to? And he got to the roof of it. Not Drew, but once Drew kind of crawled down after going somewhat near the window and everything, and Orton knocked him into it. Orton pretty much kicked Drew off of it because Drew tried to hang on to the ambulance, but he knocked him off of it as he was just hanging off of it. But once Orton turned around, Shawn Michaels showed up. He hit him with a Sweet Chin Music then, and he pushed Randy Orton off of the ambulance. He told him to suck it then as Orton was on the ground. Drew had finally got up and once again tried to go for Orton. He tried to put Orton into the ambulance, but Orton ended up RKOing him. Orton threw McIntyre in there. He tried to close the doors, but McIntyre pretty much hold his arms out and he grabbed Randy Orton and put his hand into his face then, gouging his eye, which McIntyre got out of it. He hit a Claymore kick then, and he threw him in the ambulance, but he did not close the doors. He hung his head out a little, and he kicked Randy Orton in the head, which looked like he barely kicked him, by the way. He missed it, and then he put him in the ambulance and won the match. Now, I like this match and don't like this match. Number one, I get the story aspect of it because, number one, okay, the people that Randy Orton took out. Oh, one more thing. When they drove the ambulance off, Ric Flair was there, and he was behind the wheel and drove off with the ambulance. But here's the thing. From a story-wise, I get why Big Show, Christian, Shawn Michaels, who barely sold that kick in, that RKO, and Ric Flair showed up to get Randy Orton getting payback on him, even though they all just kind of like sporadically showed up. They hit like one finisher and left, but at the same time, it took like 4 or 5 guys to beat Randy Orton. It's almost like, hey, these guys can show up and hit their finisher on Randy, but Randy's still going on in this match. He's damn near superhuman out there, taking all these finishers, and he just goes on. He takes the finishers, and boom, there you go. He's still going in this match, and Drew still couldn't beat him, even with all that help. So it does somewhat make Drew kind of weak to get help from all these legends, but at the same time, from a story perspective, all the people that Randy Orton beat up finally came back to haunt him and get payback on him. Now, they all could have just jumped the dude at the same freaking time and hit their finishes on them and whatnot, but it's like they had to make sporadic cameo appearances, and Randy Orton still kept getting up, attacking, still getting attacked, but Drew's still trying to beat him, even though with the help of the legends or whatnot. Now Orton can have it out on this and come back on Raw tomorrow night if they continue to feud and say, hey, Drew had all this help from all these legends. There was like 4 or 5 guys that jumped me, which they could drag this all the way into Hell in a Cell and put both of them in a Hell in a Cell for the title, so I could see that happening. This was still a great match. I'm not trying to downplay the match all the way, but it was a good fight out there. But still, Drew needed like 4 guys to help him beat Randy Orton in this ambulance match. So this does give Orton an out in a way. But I'm not surprised that Drew still retained, especially. But like I said, after all that help, he still retained. So it's not that surprising. But in the main event, we got Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the Universal Championship. Uso came out wearing like a red, like that red lay, or what's it called? Like I don't know what it's called. I know it happens a lot in like Hawaii, Samoa, or whatnot. But like the laid, they call it. Please correct me. I may not know the name of it, but it came out on his neck. Roman Reigns came out. No vest, no shirt, just black pants, the boots. So he's not wearing a shirt now. They really are doing their best to transform Roman Reigns. Now, this match here, I like this match. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say this was a great match. It was a good match. But this was more of a story perspective when it comes to this match. Now, of course, Roman Reigns dominated throughout most of this match against Uso, shit-talking most of the entire match, and, saying, I'm the tribal chief, you listen to me and everything. And, Uso's trying to get his hope spots in, fighting after Reigns, but Reigns is still taking him down. Uso trying to go for a chop, but Reigns says, what was that? Like, you want to see the table, you're going to have to fight me for it. And, they go to the floor and whatnot. Reigns is just throwing the dude around, just trying to knock the crap out of him. And, says, I told you I was going to whip your ass again. I told you. And, you should just took your payday and lied down and whatnot. And Uso was like, he wasn't going down for it. And Reigns like, you don't pay attention. What was that? You call that a chop. But Uso, like, once again, trying to go over his hope spots, hitting with his super kick, suicide diving him to the ground. Even, hitting the splash and everything on him. But when Reigns kicked out, Reigns apparently hit him in the nuts then, as, Uso was pretty much holding his nuts and whatnot after his, like, comeback and everything. So once, Reigns had got to his feet and whatnot, he ended up pretty much talking a whole bunch of shit again, so you should have took the payday and lied down. He ended up spearing him, but Uso kicked out. And then kind of after this is where a lot of the shit talking comes in. Like, you want to see at the table, you want something against the tribal chief. I'm trying to feed my family, I'm trying to feed your family. You will never get this. I've been beating you my whole life. You had me come all the way out here. He's yelling at the ref. Like, you try to get involved one more time, I'll knock your ass out and have you fired and everything. This is not happening. And he says, tell me I'm the tribal chief. I am the tribal chief, as Heyman said, but he told him, I don't need you to say it. I want him to say it. And Jey Uso was like, not tonight, Us. It ain't happening, dog. It ain't happening. I'm not doing it and everything. And Reigns is just punching him and just beating him to the ground and everything. And he's telling Uso, acknowledge me. And Reigns says, I've been whipping his ass my entire life, and I'm going to keep doing it again. I've been doing this when we was kids and everything. Your family is watching. This is your family. It's supposed to be your big thing, right? You're supposed to be holding it down, right? Why ain't you doing it, huh? Why ain't you doing it, huh? And it's just a lot of talking. Just a lot of this shit talking from Roman Reigns. Jimmy Uso came out limping. He says, you don't got to do this. Telling his brother, like, I got to throw in a towel. I got to do this. But Jay's like, don't throw that shit. Don't throw that shit. All right, let me do this. Let me do this. And Jimmy Uso just kept wanting to throw the towel. He wanted to do it, but Reigns asked, like, you going to listen to him? Huh? You going to listen to him? And Jey Uso just, just trying to remain in this match, but Reigns beat him with several punches and elbows to the jaw and just beat him to death. And, like, it wasn't bloody and everything, but he beat the man to a pulp, and Jimmy Uso ended up throwing in the towel, and pretty much Reigns is still hitting him, but Jimmy covered his brother and everything, protect him, and Jimmy said, all right, you the chief, now chill out, all right? Chill out. And, Reigns took that lei, the red lei, and, put it around his own neck and everything, saying he's the tribal chief, whatever they call it, the big dog tribal chief or whatever, but this was great from a storytelling perspective, okay? This wasn't, I'm not going to say it was a great match, but from a story-wise, with Reigns being remorseless and just saying, I'm the tribal chief, pretty much showing his, his cousin no mercy out there, just beating him like, you want to fight me, I've been holding it down, there's a reason why I'm the guy around here, and you not, but do I think it was too much talking? No, to an extent, yeah, but that it did work in this way for this match. Like I say, he beat the man to a pulp and everything. I still found my other friend thought it was funny. He said it sounded like a BET like script out there they were saying like for a BET movie or whatnot. So I'm like, oh, it really called like a BET movie, just all the shit like, what you gonna do, dog? What you gonna do, bruh? What you gonna do, bruh? You go fight, bruh? Jimmy Uso like, nah, bruh, you ain't gotta do this, bruh. Throw it in, I gotta throw it in, bro. Don't do that shit, bro. Don't do that shit, bro. Don't do it, bro. Bro. Like, just so much talk. Like, I enjoyed it from Reigns, though. He made him look like more badass than usual. So they have gotten it correct with Roman Reigns being a heel. Well, more than correct, let me say that. But he just beat the man to a living pulp out there, okay? He beat him to a living freaking pulp, all right? But, it was crazy, but overall I enjoyed this pay-per-view. This was a very good pay-per-view. Some would say maybe the best thing in the Thunderdome since its inception and whatnot. I thought Clash of Champions was a very good pay-per-view. I didn't think this sucked at all, to be honest. I think the best match out of the entire night was the ladder match, and I would say the other two matches that I would say arguably was still one of the best was between the main event with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, despite a lot of those interferences coming out with him to help beat Randy Orton. But between both the main event title matches and the ladder match, I thought those were the best things on the show, especially the ladder match, okay? I didn't need to see the Street Profits versus Garza and Almas for the 1 millionth time. Asuka versus Vega was okay, but come on, let's be honest, this match didn't really need to happen also with Asuka, and I don't really want to see it continue. Cesaro Nakamura, you already knew that was going to win that. That's on the pre-show. U.S. title, come on, it's Bobby Lashley. We all know who was going to win that too. It's not really a no-brainer for a lot of these matches and whatnot. We didn't see a women's tag title match. I enjoyed the Bayley segment due to the Sasha coming out right after. Like I said, it was a last-minute thing. We saw Asuka 2 times tonight. Let's say that too. So we got Asuka 2 times in a row. But the Sasha coming back, getting a little bit of payback on Bayley was really good. Her neck is still hurt apparently, but that was still a good little beat down for Sasha to get some payback. But like I said, overall, this was a really good show. I can't really say it really sucked that badly. Out of a few things, I didn't really like. A few things I didn't like I said before, I thought this was a very overall good pay-per-view. I've said this before with WWE. It's like they booked the pay-per-view better than they do Raw and SmackDown, which I'll say SmackDown at least has been a little bit better. Now, Raw, that's just damn near hot garbage, okay? Raw is just bad. It sucks. But when we get to the pay-per-view was really good. It was a very good show. I think another thing, we got no retribution interferences. I think that's another positive to this show. So, I overall enjoyed it, okay? And when it comes to building the pay-per-views, it's bad. But once we actually get to the show, it's really good. So, I enjoyed this pay-per-view. Comment, subscribe, though. Follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. Tell me what do you think about Clash of Champions tonight, because I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think the ladder match was the best thing out of the entire show. Tell me what you think about what your favorite match was tonight, and would you have done anything different with this pay-per-view, and tell me your thoughts on it, okay? Other than that, though, I'm out here. I'll see you guys later. I'm still gonna come back with a G1 review, about 4 days of it. I'm gonna see maybe tonight's show, maybe tomorrow or whatnot, but when we on day 6 of that tournament, I'll come with that later on, so we will have a review of that when I get the chance. But between that is my review of Clash of Champions 2020 tonight. So I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. I gotta go and check out some not book, but I gotta go watch Power Book 2 Ghost. Need to bring Ghost back, though. I still think he's coming back, okay? Because they desperately need that dude on that show. I still think if the ratings do bad, they will bring Ghost. He may fake his death. I'm still going with that. Never saw a body. Never saw bodies, but that's a conversation for another time, okay? I gotta go watch Power. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.